three have a connection to the 41-year-old future Hall of Famer. Maxey has worked out with LeBron in previous off seasons and calls LeBron a big brother. LeBron spoke up for Brown in February when Brown was with Boston. LeBron said Brown should have been a top MVP candidate. LeBron and Embiid won a gold medal together when they played for Team USA in the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. If Golden State, Cleveland, and Miami are still in the running for LeBron, they better step up their game. The Philadelphia 76ers are not playing. Even Sixers owner Bob Myers has made a pitch to LeBron. No timetable yet from LeBron on making a decision. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Let me put my hard hat on, go back outside, and see if these procrastination Crenshaw construction crews have shown up yet. I'm saving space for grace, but if these trucks don't show up soon, well, you already know. Destination Crenshaw, your time is up. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 and Bethesda Temple Church invite residents, churches, businesses, and community leaders along the Crenshaw corridor to join a vitally important community conversation Thursday, July 30th, 6:30 p.m. at Bethesda Temple Church, 4909 Crenshaw Boulevard. For years now, this community has been living with unkept promises and the devastating effects of the unfinished Destination Crenshaw construction project, leaving residents, businesses, and churches to deal with myriad problems, including the loss of parking, restricted access, traffic congestion, and a lack of emergency vehicle access when it matters most. For years now, Procrastination Crenshaw has directly contributed to the loss of customer revenue for local black-owned businesses and, sadly, has forced the closure of some businesses along this 1.3-mile corridor. For years now, churches have been experiencing decreased attendance due to the elimination of parking, and social service programs for vulnerable fellow citizens have been altogether halted. For years now, residents have watched their quality of life erode, and nothing has been done about it. If they think they can get away with treating black folk like second-class citizens, they better think again.
You better think about what you're trying to do to me.
This town hall meeting is a reckoning, a public witness, an opportunity for impacted community members to share their experiences for the public record as we prepare to hold those responsible accountable for this enduring nightmare. So please join us Thursday, July 30th, 6:30 p.m. at Bethesda Temple Church, 4909 Crenshaw Boulevard. This town hall meeting is free and open to the public, but registration is required at KBLA1580.com. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
JY, turn me up. Miami. This for all my scammers and my kid money.
Where are my scamming? Spending that money fast. 20, 50s, 100s cash. Boy, going that go, y'all bad. Boosting, where y'all at? Stuffing that in y'all bag. Just to flip it, pop some tags. Girl, going that go, y'all bad. Spin it, 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 finish. I like a gangster making more than 10 figures. I'm a down ass riding with you in the spag. Only with the hitters for his girl here. Tricker calling up his trap phone. Yo, where you at? Show me where you spend a block on your ops. Hanging out the trash from your cop.
Is it a spin that summer?
Show me where your hood
Well, we're going to talk about it. This song has set off a whole controversy. And we'll get a little bit into that. That's because there's a lot of issues that come up. It's not just a song. I'm being joined this morning by an award-winning journalist. He is an author of, what is it called? I'm blanking. Historically Black Phrases.
Who all going to be there?
Yeah. Yes, indeed, which is not just a book, but also a game.
a game show that we travel with, and also a card game that will be coming out September 8th called Watch Your Mouth.
I can't wait to see to play the card game.
Yeah.
Jarrett Hill is here. He's a past president of the Association of Black Journalists here in Los Angeles, and got a lot to say about a lot of things. I'm glad you could be here with me this morning. We played the Young Miami song. The reason that this whole conversation started was because India.Arie kind of put that song on blast. And India.Arie, is outspoken. She could really be a talk radio host if she wanted to. She's outspoken. She was kind of, I think, this is how I interpreted it. I don't know how you interpreted it. I feel like she was saying we have to be careful what we put into our brains, that we should play things that uplift us. And she was saying that Young Miami's song, Spend That, which you just heard, is a reflection of where we are as a society, hyper-consumerist, and kind of on the hamster wheel.
Yeah, number one, thank you for having me. I appreciate being back. I was seeing the discourse around it, and what did India say? Why is this part of the conversation? And then I went back and saw what she said, and I was like, this is not that serious, right? It felt like blowing up something that wasn't as big of a deal. She said, I spent my entire life caring way too much because I finally learned that not everybody cares. With a capital C, and explaining it to them is not going to make them care. Everything you listen to, see, or eat is going to influence you, so make wise choices, y'all. And she was responding to someone that had said, I'm calling for a boycott of Young Miami's song, Spin That. And so it was interesting because people were like, India.Arie is calling for a boycott, or she was upset, and all these other things. And so it was interesting to kind of see how people took her comment, right? Because she's saying that these things all kind of have an influence on us. And that's true, right? The things that we listen to, the things that we watch, the things that we eat, the people that we hang around, all of those things have influence on us. I think people heard it as judgmental, which, I mean, it might have been a little judgmental, right? What are we saying? What are we agreeing to? What are we signing up for?
Judgmental, discerning, this fine line.
Yeah. But also it is reflective of where we are in the culture, right? And I mean, that doesn't mean that everybody is talking about Spin That, right? Or go scamming. But there are plenty of people who are out here struggling right now, right? And I think when we often talk about crime and crime reduction and those kinds of things, we talk about the ways that we can improve our community so that crime is not necessary, right? So that people don't need to steal, so people aren't hurting, so that, mind you, there are plenty of people who will steal regardless, right? But we are in a time right now where there are a lot of people who are having to make some really difficult decisions about how they're making money or what they're doing to survive.
Yes, and also, to your point, India.Arie has been very intentional about what she puts in our minds. Mm-hmm. She's the author of Worthy, Strength, Courage, and Wisdom. I Am Not My Hair, video. She can be discerning or even judgmental because she practices what she preaches.
Well, there's that too.
When I find myself going off the deep end, a lot of times what I will do is listen to India because I know that reliably she's going to offer something better for my mental health.
Yeah, and I something that I always appreciate about India.Arie's music is that listening back to it years later, it will always still speak something to you, right? It'll always show up in a way that is useful, that is generative, is encouraging, and that kind of thing. And I think that when we see folks like India.Arie getting attacked in these moments, it's what are we doing? What are we upset about? What are we angry about? We'll talk about KevOn Stage a little bit later. What are we upset about? What is the anger about? What is the outrage, the backlash about? And I'm kind of fascinated by that all the time.
Well, the other thing is that, I mean, what we're really talking about, if you lump those two together with KevOn Stage and this Young Miami situation, is the way that the online clips or posts impact conversation in a very direct way, right? Where whether we're getting the real story, they're not real story, the genie's out of the bottle and the people are already camping up and taking sides. I was surprised to see Dr. Melina Abdullah, the leader of Black Lives Matter Grassroots, write a whole column in this LA Sentinel about Spend That.
Oh.
And she says that it exposes class war behind retail theft, kind of to your point, that it's not just about, being flossy. Some people are boosting because they need to or want to. She says the song reframes boosting and scamming as underclass resistance in a society that criminalizes poverty and subsidizes corporate power.
Say that again, please.
This is Dr. Melina Abdullah saying, spin that. Reframes boosting and scamming as underclass resistance in a society that criminalizes poverty and subsidizes corporate power. Now, if you really listen to the lyrics, she may have a point, because she's not saying go get some dude to buy you something like she did. She got Diddy to buy her a whole bunch of stuff.
Indeed.
She's not saying that. She's saying, she's kind of glorifying boosters.
So this corporate power piece is interesting, coming off of your last hour, right? Talking about data centers and the ways in which corporations are stealing a lot from the people. And like, as I was listening to last hour, I was thinking about this data center conversation that we're having feels very adjacent or similar to the conversations we often have about stadiums being built in communities.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
The way that stadiums go into communities, they take up a whole bunch of land, they promise a whole bunch of jobs, they get massive tax breaks that end up costing the local community, right? And then like they sit empty most days of the week, right? They're not employing people most days of the week. They're taking resources and all those kinds of things. And data centers seem like they are taking that and being like exponentially worse, right? With water and power.
Yeah, because they don't, at least stadiums have football games.
At least stadiums have something entertaining for you. You know
Right.
what I mean? You can go to a concert or whatever. But like when we think about how we are responding in this moment to Dr. Abdullah's point, like, I think we are going to see people talking about things in a different kind of way. We're going to see people rising up in a different kind of voice. We talked before about, that the idea that revolution requires breaking the law, right? And maybe doing some things that, but I don't know that Carisha's calling for, I don't know that Young Miami is calling for revolution in this, but I think she is saying, spend that.
Well, the other thing is, did you see I Love Boosters, Boots Riley's movie?
Yeah.
He's kind of glorifying the whole shoplifting culture, but also doing it in a very intentionally anti-capitalist way. Clearly it's a critique of capitalism. It's not just, hey, people, let's go smash and grab. I thought it was brilliant, actually.
Yeah, I thought it was really great. I mean, any opportunity to watch Keke Palmer, I'll take it. But if you haven't seen I Love Boosters, it is a conversation around that, right? It is kind of challenging the ways in which we kind of think about these things, and also kind of humanizing the people, right, that are making the choices, that are having to do these things. And I think that when we are in a culture where our president of the United States is the biggest scammer that there is, right? Like the biggest scammer there's ever been. I will say, like, Donald Trump, if as scammers go, number one. Like, you've done it, right?
Yeah, scam excellence.
Exactly, right? Yeah. Scamming excellence is definitely Donald Trump. But I think, like, it's going to start some more interesting conversations. And I think Carisha and India Ari are one of those where we see, like, the tension of how do we hold on to the morals, what is the line? Does the line move for some people in these instances, or does the line hold? I think that's what we're really discussing.
Well, to me, that's part of the brilliance of what Boots Riley did in his piece, because one of the things he does is look at wage theft subtly, right? Mm-hmm. Those women working in that spot, they can't even get a lunch break, but we would call the women taking the clothes boosters, but we wouldn't call the corporation boosters, even though they're boosting the labor off these people and their quality of life.
Well, I mean, if I was stealing power from my neighbor, you would be looking at me sideways like, what is wrong with you? But when a corporation comes in and steals it from a whole city, it's like, oh, well, that's business.
Right. That was a deal they made.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a frustrating dynamic that we witness over and over and over and over again, right? Time and time again in this city, in this country, in this world, where we allow rich people, corporations, white people, just period, right, to be able to have a different set of rules, to get away with a different set of things. It's really frustrating to continually watch that happen again and again.
I mean, even the character brilliantly played by Demi Moore in I Love Boosters, of the designer, they show you how, I mean, they implies, he talks about how the rich and wealthy class rips off boosts from the culture, from the poor, from the creatives. and many times from black people.
And
so who's boosting who?
And still kind of benefits from the boosting, right? Because of the way that it starts trends, or the ways that people are wearing the clothes, or the ways in which it's getting seen and things like that, right? The ways
and also the insurance that they have.
Well, there's also the insurance, right? And so, which is a whole other scam, right? And so, yeah.
Jarrett Hill is here. You're welcome in 800-920-1580. We're unapologetically outspoken. KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
She's sharp. She's fearless.
I don't know what they told you, but if they told you that cutting me off is how we're going to get clicks, stop it now.
She's that girl, and she's bringing all of that to your radio this summer. Amanda Seales is here.
I am Amanda Seales.
Comedian, artist, actress, activist, truth teller. The woman who never bites her tongue is coming to KBLA Talk 1580. And baby, the conversations are about to be unmatched. Every Friday, she's going to be lit noon to 2 p.m. and back again 4 to 6 p.m. Starting Friday, July 17th, only on KBLA Talk 1580. Amanda Seales, keeping it real, keeping it raw, and keeping it rooted. Politics, pop culture, black excellence, the stuff they don't want us talking about. Amanda's talking about all of it.
You keep interrupting me when I'm talking, and you don't want to hear the point that I'm going to make. And yet you want me to respect your point. And that's not how a debate works.
This is not your average radio show. This is a Seales Summer. Fridays, noon to 2, 4 to 6. Starting Friday, July 17th. Only on KBLA Talk 1580. Don't just listen. Tune in.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-550-9651. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-550-9651. That's 800-550-9651. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Don't be anxious or confused about AI. Take control of your career when you get the skills to tackle real business problems and design specialized solutions. HR Dive reported that entry-level talent with applied AI credentials can receive up to a 25% salary boost. But where do you find training that you can trust? Future-proof your career and deliver more value with Humans Lead the Way AI. Their hybrid learning courses use practical definitions, real-world examples, and strategic insights to help you and your team understand AI with confidence. No magic, no hacks, no shortcuts. Just practical knowledge that helps you use AI more successfully. Don't wait. AI can never replace people who know how to use it well. Register for courses today at humansleadtheway.com. That's humansleadtheway.com.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, so which is it? Is it India Arie or is it is it Young Miami? Dr. Melina Abdullah clearly takes young Miami's side here. And I feel like a Democratic politician saying, well, India's got a point, but Miami's got a point.
I mean, yeah, it's not great media to be in the middle, but like, I mean, they both make points, right? Points were made on both sides.
Yes, points were made on both sides. We do have to watch what we fill our minds with. And even if you're going to sing along to Spin That or have a Spin That Summer or the challenge.
I love that you keep referring to a Spend That Summer. Like, I'm intrigued by the idea of you having a Spend That Summer, Dominique. I remember a few shows ago we were talking about reparations and you said you're a cut the check girly. And I've always remembered that.
Indeed, I am. Cut the check.
Yes, you are a cut the check girly. I remember that.
Well, yeah, I don't need encouragement to spend anything. But, I mean, and nor will I be boosting because, that's not the season of my life that I am in.
It's not a Spend That Summer
for me.
In that way.Got it. Okay.
Not for me.
Okay, noted.
But, I don't know if it was a hot girl summer when everybody was having a hot girl summer either, You
having your own girl summer
there's a
how
reason,
you want
a
to.
season, and a lifetime, Jarrett.
There you go.
I mean, I do. I'll claim it in the sense that I think the real smash and grab is happening in the White House. I don't think the real smash and grab is happening at the mall.
Yeah, there's not enough grabbing happening at the mall for it to be as significant a problem as what's happening in the White House, what's happening in the C-suites, what's happening in the top 1%. I definitely agree with you there. I think that we are in a moment where this country is making a major shift. Right, we're seeing some major changes happening in this country, and I'm really curious if conversations like Spin That, I don't know that the song is going to bring about revolution, but like I think that, but it could, right?
Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have certainly happened, but I think it is making us have these kinds of conversations, right? About like, where are we right now? What exactly are we doing? How is this happening? What are we supposed to do? And like we talked about my podcast last time I was here, the Jarrett Hill Show, which you can find at jarretthill.com or on YouTube.
Yay, jarretthill.com, JARRETT.
Yes,
and
that's absolutely
Hill.
right. Exactly. But this season we have been talking about many of these things, right? Like, where are we in this moment and what do we do? Because I think that oftentimes we are outraged by a thing that we see happening. We're frustrated by the data centers. We're frustrated by the scheming. We're frustrated by the Supreme Court or whatever the things are, right? But I don't think we know what to do about it. And I think that the people who are in control, who are in power, and with the levers of government, they know that. Right? They know that they are changing the rules so that it is harder to go out and protest, that it's harder to get out and be on the front lines, that it's harder to push back. They know what they're doing, right? And like, I think it's important for us to always remember that it's not just somebody being stupid or weird or crazy or whatever. Like, they are executing a plan, right?
Yeah.
They're doing something.
Yeah. Fahima's in a chat saying a mom and daughter from Seattle were arrested for a string of high-end retail thefts, and they gave police a clue when they posted a TikTok video with that song. Okay, that may be, but I do want to note that the so-called Spin That challenge is just a dance. The challenge is not go out and boost. And Miles is in the chat saying he strongly disagrees with Dr. Abdullah. Miles, you want to say anything about that? I mean, you're the rapper in the room.
Sure, I'll say. Part of it is the fact that everybody's entitled to their opinion, for sure. But part of it is also that that's Melina Abdullah who's saying that, who works for Black Lives Matter, and we're watching kids get shot down for stealing out of stores. You know what I mean? People assuming that people are stealing out of...
Whoa, because I heard that argument, and that's BS. That child didn't steal. You're talking about Cyrus Carmack Belton.
No, that's not...
Kids get shot down for stealing when they're not stealing.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's not my point. Isn't the fact of what I just said. My point is that we have a brand as black people that we should be rebuilding, I think. And I think that all this does is play right into it. You know what I'm saying? I think when somebody actually takes the song serious and runs with it, we're going to be front line like, oh, it was just a song. It was just a dance, when we could have a whole different point of view on the song now.
So, Miles, I'm a fight with you on this one, because I feel like this idea that we have a brand to rebuild is really difficult for me. The idea that that black folks have trashed our brand and need to rebuild it or rewrite the story. Like, we didn't write that story to begin with. Right?
People like Clive Davis who passed away, and we need to work on trying to rebrand ourselves. I'm saying rebrand, control ourselves, and take our brand back.
Are we rebranding from slavery? Are we rebranding from the way we're stereotyped by Hollywood? Are we rebranding from not getting reparations? Are we rebranding from economic oppression? Like, who sets the standard of what our brand is?
Well, I think what I hear Miles saying, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is like we need a different narrative about who we are in this country. Would that be accurate?
That's part of it, but I mean, I'm just saying the parts of us that we know we aren't feeding us, aren't fueling us, dysfunction and stealing and being mediocre and not saving and financial literacy and popping bottles all day, and I need a 10-figure dude. Like what? And more importantly, though, I get it. There's always been this type of music, right? And I'm not.
But the lyrics to this song are literally glorifying people that do scams. She's not saying I need a 10-figure dude.
She did say I need a 10-figure dude. Yeah. First verse.
A scammer, though. She's not saying that she needs.
Okay.
The
Diddy. I need a Diddy.
She needs Diddy.
She has definitely been she has a scammer too. If you want to consider it that way.
I mean, I'm just saying, think about this. Like her mom went to prison.
I mean, I think Mace would probably call him a scammer.
Well,
I think the people whose money he has in who didn't get the money that they were owed would probably argue that.
Yeah, true. Mainstream capitalist scammer. I mean, if you're talking about the contracts, I thought you were talking about why he's in jail.
Oh, I mean,
prison. Yeah.
I'm sure there's some.
And Miss Jackson says Young Miami might not be relevant 5 years from now, so why are we giving her oxygen? But it's not about her.
Yeah.
It's about a mindset. And I think what I'm hearing Miles say is a hyper capitalist spend. You want us to save, you want us to be wise. But I think what Dr. Molina is rejecting is the respectability politics that say, we have to if we play by the rules of capitalism, then we'll be rewarded by being treated better.
The thing that's coming up for me right now with like the idea of like us needing a rebrand is being challenged in the ways that we are presented in the world, right? I think about the Obamas right now. They've obviously been on big tour right now, opening up the presidential center. And a big part of their conversation that we always hear them talk about was needing to be perfect when they were in office, that they needed to always do everything exactly right, that they didn't have any room for error while they were in office. And like when I hear them say that, like it often is interesting to me because like I know what they mean, right? And it is respectability to some degree at its greatest level, but also it is like having to perform, right? It is having to show up and behave in a certain kind of way because we know that we've heard throughout our entire lives, if they don't do it right, then ain't nobody else going to be able to ever do it again, right? Because they represent Black people and they're representing for an entire race of people. And in a similar kind of way, I think when we talk about how we need to rebrand ourselves or we have to be more respectable, I find us really kind of getting into a cycle or a loop of something that is not fixable. It's not doable, right? Like we don't control the narrative. We don't own the media. We don't have all of the levers of power to be able to do those kinds of things. We can just live differently. We can live in the ways that we want to. We can show up in the ways that we want to. And I hear Miles saying like there are various different examples of us that do not seem like they are ideal examples of us, right? But I also don't think that we have to be perfect or ideal or respectable all day, every day.
Okay, Miles, you can clap back when we come back after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580. Love it.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. New York City has extended its emergency operations as Canadian wildfire smoke moves into the region. Mayor Mamdani advises residents to stay indoors if necessary.
If you are feeling any effects from this, I would advise you to stay indoors. The best way to handle the heat is to do the same.
Officials say air quality could reach unhealthy levels with cooling centers remaining open and free KN95 masks available citywide. The U.S. House has approved a bill to make daylight savings time permanent, ending that twice-yearly clock change. Supporters say more evening daylight could boost tourism and consumer spending, but the measure still needs Senate approval. And Tyler Perry is pushing back on a sexual assault lawsuit accusing actor Mario Rodriguez Jr. of using the legal discovery process to pressure him into a financial settlement. Perry denies the allegations and is asking the court to sanction Rodriguez's legal team. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Attention Ram owners. Complete Recall 67A. Get $500 and a chance to win a getaway to Miami for two to see the final race of the season. Plus, meet Brendan Butterbean Queen. Learn more and schedule at CumminsRecall.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Philadelphia 76ers continue to be the most diligent NBA team in pursuing LeBron in free agency. NBA sources are reporting that the Sixers' best players, Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, and Joel Embiid, have had direct conversations with LeBron. All three have a connection to the 41-year-old future Hall of Famer. Maxey has worked out with LeBron in previous off seasons and calls LeBron a big brother. LeBron spoke up for Brown in February when Brown was with Boston. LeBron said Brown should have been a top MVP candidate. LeBron and Embiid won a gold medal together when they played for Team USA in the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. If Golden State, Cleveland, and Miami are still in the running for LeBron, they better step up their game. The Philadelphia 76ers are not playing. Even Sixers owner Bob Myers has made a pitch to LeBron. No timetable yet from LeBron on making a decision. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This November, you'll decide who leads California. So shouldn't you hear directly from the people asking for your vote? Join us for California Voices, a political town hall and ballot forum, Saturday, October 3rd, 2026. Meet candidates running for governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and other major statewide and local offices, including mayor of Los Angeles, city attorney, and LA County sheriff. Get clear, nonpartisan breakdowns of the propositions on your November ballot, both sides, no spin. And ask your questions directly, in real conversation, face to face. California Voices is brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the Empowerment Congress, giving you the information you need before you vote. Mark your calendar, Saturday, October 3rd, 2026, California Voices. Follow KBLA 1580 for details and download the KBLA 1580 app. Your vote, your voice. Be there.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive. This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
All right. We said we were going to talk about this Christian comedian causing havoc in the NDRE Young Miami, which is really about the spin that mentality. And I want you and Miles to finish up your conversation. But you just scared me. I didn't think about the fact that Trump might say today that he's canceling the election.
Oh.
I just kind of thought, he would be doing his demented ramblings.
Well, so, I mean, you had pointed out a Politico headline that quotes scared S-less Republicans brace for Trump's primetime speech. And it's regarding the election, allegedly. It says rehashing grievances about the 2020 election could motivate the Republican base and press GOP lawmakers to pass the Save America Act. I'm like, I expect him to say, ain't gonna be no election. Right.
Well,
and I mean, I don't think he's going to say it quite like that.
It's going to be a busy day if he says that.
Right.
But look, I want to let you guys finish your conversation. Miles is disagreeing with Dr. Abdullah, and he makes a fair point, which is that we should be spending that we should be saving that, investing that, and detoxing ourselves. But at the same time, I feel like you were kind of saying that the respectability politics is a road to nowhere.
Yeah.
And we were going to let Miles have his clap back, and then, I'm gonna go out to breakfast and let y'all go. Let the brothers have a conversation.
I'll close out the show. I got you.
It's all good.
I just feel like another thing too is like we just had a big debate last year, Dominique. Hip hop hit 50 years, and then hip hop fell all the way off the charts, and now hip hop's back at number one with the Scam and Boosting anthem. And I'm asking myself, where's the variety at? You know what I mean? There used to be a time when there was a variety of songs, and now this is the only song that
now
can
you
reach.
sound like my friend Paris, the Black Panther of hip hop, which is a good point because we know why that happens. The record companies control who gets on.
Exactly.
And the big media companies, which is why the consolidation is so problematic. Jarrett, did you want to say something to that?
Well, I'm looking in the comments, and we have WCH-TV Live says we have never controlled our brand. Some may say, for me, I believe as a black man, it's important to show the educated, financially literate, responsible, business-minded man.
Alrighty.
Miles is like, yeah. And I'm
which
like,
is respectability politics.
Which is respectability, right? And so, Miles, I hear your point, and I understand where you're coming from. I think for me, we have learned time and time again that respectability is not going to save us or do anything to help us, right? And I think about that in the myriad different ways that we've seen it shown up with, whether it's about police killings of folks, whether it is about the ways that the system is designed, whether it is the ways that we show up in the world and still have to do twice as much to get half as much, all those things. It doesn't seem like respectability has ever proven to be largely useful.
Okay, Paul's in the chat and he says it's purposely being done. Why we must push away from toxicity when it doesn't represent us correctly is because the mainstream media does this intentionally. And yes, but also then when we say the guy with the suit, the investor or whatever, that we need to represent that, then we're also agreeing to their terms of what's respectability, what's positivity, what roles we want to play in society. I need freedom. Did Malcolm X was not respectable. Yes, he did have a suit, but he didn't fit into the box of respectability according to mainstream media. When he was here, neither did Audre Lorde, neither did James Baldwin, neither did Chuck D.
Right. And I feel like I don't personally look at it as a respectability thing as opposed to a use case. Like, is it useful? Do we need this as our number one song representing if this is quote unquote our culture and this represents us and how we feel and us being free, we have other things and other ways we can express that than having us agree that our number one song needs to be spin that shit. I just think that's not the
Well, I don't know if we all agree on that, but it's certainly charting right now.
I think that we are gonna, we're looking at like charting and like what's really popular. Number one, I'm always kind of like skeptical of the charts, but two, like I don't think we always have to present ourselves as perfection, right? I don't think we always have to be the most talented, the most gifted, the number one, the top of this. Like
I mean, that is a trauma response.
Yeah, well, absolutely, right? And I mean, I think the way that we talk about Black excellence, there is something important and useful to saying, like, to highlighting the myriad different ways that we are excellent and useful and valuable and all those things. And we shouldn't have to be excellent and perfect and all of those things to be valuable, to be valid, to be respected, to be treated as human beings. And so that's the challenge and tension that I have with the Black excellence conversations and the respectability conversations, because I don't know that they're actually gaining us what we think they are. They make us feel better sometimes. They look cute in church. They are great when we have scholarships, and it's great when we can admire someone who did something great. But I don't know that it's actually like saving us.
Go ahead, Miles.
Last question I have. Is there a limit that we put on what we accept and what we decide to consume and put into our art? Now, art is art. You can't limit art, but I'm saying we choose to.
Does R. Kelly get a pardon? I'm just saying he's asking for one.
Like I said, like we don't need more lean music. We don't need more drill rap.
But who gets to decide that? Who gets to decide what we need?
Pardon me?
Who gets to decide what we need? Like, who gets to choose that?
I mean, like I said, some people need their lean. You know what I'm saying? Some people need their drugs. And all that, so.
Supposedly the consumer decides, but the reality is in many cases, the corporations decide.
And what are we
the
trying to build?
Consumer is only exposed to what the corporations expose them to for the most part. Well, one of the goals is freedom, right? I mean, freedom of choice, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, which is back to the pushback against respectability. On the one hand, I understand what you're saying, Miles. The agenda that's being pushed on us is not necessarily what serves our interest or builds our community. But on the other hand, famously, my dad was arrested for obscenity for something he wrote in a poem. And when he went to court, Mary Baraka, for those who aren't familiar, he kept asking the lawyer that was grilling him, the prosecution lawyer, so what you're saying is you don't like my poem. So what you're saying is you don't like my poem. And what they were objecting to was the language, saying that he was pushing obscenity. Now, my dad is not a pornographer. He's a revolutionary. So the question is back to who gets to decide. Who gets to decide how we express ourselves and what is number one and what we need.
For me, I don't.
You're the rapper in the room?
Just Dominique, this number one song that the babies are eating up right now. This number one song that the aunties are eating up right now. This number one song on TikTok. You know what I mean? Like, it's not against the song per se, because I like ratchet music myself. I get it. I understand there's a time and a place for it.
Time and a place for ratchet.
For me, it can't be everything. It can't be everything. It can't.
No, I agree. It can't be everything. We need variety, but that's where freedom of expression comes in. Jarrett?
Well, I agree that it can't be everything. I think that we have to appreciate that, like, we contain multitudes, right, as Black folks, but also as hip hop, as rap music, as the various different ways that we show up as artists, that we contain multitudes, that we can show up in a spin that kind of way, and we can show up in a India Ari video kind of way. We can show up in a Barack Obama kind of way. We can show up in a Melina Abdullah kind of way. We can show up in a Dominique DePrima kind of way. We can show up in a Jarrett Hill kind of way. And like, I think that Black folks often get really anxious when we see images of ourselves or stories being told that are not like the great versions of us, right? Because we have so many messages about how unworthy, unvaluable, untalented, unbeautiful, incapable that we are, right? And I think that we get tense about this. I worked at CNN years ago when I was in college, and I worked on Black in America too. And what was interesting to me about the first Black in America was the feedback that we got from so many Black folks was like, well, this is not my Black America. This is not how Black America looks for me, which I understood on some point. I understood that people were saying, like, the things that you're depicting in this don't represent my Black experience. But I also recognize that part of that is the fact that we have so few images of ourselves, especially at that time when Black in America 2 was coming out. Because we have so few images of ourselves, we find ourselves like any images of us need to be perfect. They need to be great. They need to be relatable.
I mean,
they need to be
my version of that is
every
every time they murder a kid or jail a kid unjustly, like Carmelo Anthony, the narrative is always, well, that child wasn't perfect, so they deserve to die or they deserve to go to jail. Oh, Mike Brown once stole cigars. Oh, whatever it is. And I push back against that because I don't think we have to be perfect to not be murdered by police. I don't think we should have to be perfect to not be traumatized by police. I don't think we should have to be perfect to get respect in America. But I also do understand, and we were having this conversation yesterday, right, with the positive vibes lady, about what we feed ourselves, what we feed our heads, what we feed our children in ourselves in terms of the culture and the impact that it has, which is, I think, where we started. Okay, we said we were going to talk about this Christian comedian. So maybe we'll do that. You want to do it real quick when we come forward? Yeah, we'll do that when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Listen up, KBLA delegation. We have something you need to hear. Right now, you may qualify for low-cost home internet. And we're not talking about a catch. This is real. Many internet service providers offer low-cost internet plans if anyone in your household is enrolled in CalFresh, Medi-Cal, SSI, or is income eligible. There are a lot of families in our community who deserve to be connected. Here's all you do. Call 844-461-7893. That's the Get Connected call center. Real people ready to help you enroll today. Or go online to internetforallnow.org to find a provider near you. You may also qualify for a low-cost computer through Human IT. Connectivity is not a luxury. In 2026, it's a necessity. And you deserve access just like everybody else. Call 844-461-7893. That's 844-461-7893. KBLA's got you. If you missed any of this, you can always go to our website at KBLA1580.com. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 in partnership with the California Emerging Technology Fund, CETF. Did you know the Crenshaw Corridor now offers free public Wi-Fi? Thanks to Destination Crenshaw in the city of Los Angeles, staying connected is easier than ever. Whether you're checking email, applying for jobs, doing homework, or supporting your local business, free internet access is now available along the corridor because everyone deserves the opportunity to connect, learn, and grow. To find Wi-Fi locations and learn more, visit www.getconnected.lacity.gov.
Going to a World Cup match in LA this summer? Ditch the parking stress and ride Metro. With direct service from across LA County, it's the easy way to get there for just $1.75 each way.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. At the heart of the Al Wooten Center's mission for good citizenship and academic excellence is a desire to ensure that every student avoids the kind of lifestyle and overcomes the kinds of challenges that led to the murder of Al Wooten Jr. In 1990, founder Myrtle Fay Rumpf opened the center in honor of her son's life. In 2026, they are serving more than 300 students in grades 3 through 12 annually online and on site at their youth center and other sites in the South LA area. The Al Wooten Jr. Youth Center takes a neighborhood approach to the revitalization and empowerment of a community in crisis. The Wooten Center provides free after-school and summer programs to help students in grades 3 through 12 attain grade-level proficiency and promotion, high school graduation, and college and career access and success. The Al Wooten Center focuses on academics, STEM, the arts, and so much more. Join them for an enriching experience that sparks creativity and nurtures young minds. Tap in at wootencenter.org. That's wootencenter.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Knock, knock, Capital One Bank guy.
Wow, Charles Barkley?
I just moved into the neighborhood. Can I borrow some Wi-Fi?
Sure, Chuck. That's what the Capital One Cafe is here for, open 7 days a week.
Oh, can I use your ATM? My dog Walker only takes cash.
Anything for a neighbor.
Can I try the catchphrase?
Sure, take it for a spin.
There's no fees and minimums on Capital One checking accounts.
Nice, Chuck. I'll take it from here. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Visit CapitalOne.com/bankguide for details. Capital One and a member FDIC.
The conversation continues right now with Dominic DePrima on First Things First.
Easily. But straight to a church? No, sir. Also, I don't think masturbation is a sin no more. I beat that meat.
Oh.
I beat that
I don't
meat.
think anybody was wondering how you felt.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Jarrett Hill, what are we listening to right here?
Well, KevOn Stage, who you know as a Christian comic, he has been trending for the last day after an old clip. Part of what's interesting about it is like he didn't say this recently. It was like an old clip that came back. And he's talking about, he's a Christian comic. He often is talking about various different kinds of things. He has a TV show called Churchy, right? And various other things. He's on tour as a comic. But this clip came back where he's talking about masturbation. And I mean, you hear the way he's talking about it, right? He's not even using the language that I'm using about it. But like, I find it interesting that there's been like backlash about this, people being really upset about it, people being frustrated that he would say this and be Christian and like, oh, you can't be a Christian if you're masturbating. And I was like, I don't know how we got there. Like the ideas around Christianity and the ways in which we engage pleasure and sexuality have always been really problematic to me. As a queer person, as a person who just came from divinity school and like it doesn't identify as Christian anymore after that, it's been an interesting dynamic to watch these conversations happen.
So they're mad at him for being Christian and talking about masturbation, or they're mad at him for being Christian and being rambunctious about it, or they're mad at him, like, why are they mad at him? I would imagine as a Christian artist, it's a line to walk, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, the answer to your questions is yes, right? Are they mad at him about this? Yeah. Are they mad at him about that? Yeah. They're just mad about it, right? And I find like a lot of folks especially like that are deeply connected to the purity culture elements of Christianity, get really offended if anybody is not doing exactly what you believe they should be doing.
So it's back to us being perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, again, it kind of does touch the respectability conversation, right? And the idea that a married man who is in a hotel on tour, he's talking about being on tour and traveling and being in a hotel by himself. He's like, I don't understand what the argument is, right? With Christianity, I don't understand what the frustration is, what the pushback is, or the ways in which people would be like, how could you do this? How could you say this? Why would you show up that way? It's very interesting to watch, especially as spending 40 years as a Christian and seeing these conversations happen around sex.
Well, Morris says in the chat saying in America we have 40,000 Christian sects. I don't know if that's true or not. I've never researched it. Perhaps you have. He says which one is acceptable. And I think the whole point is it's what's acceptable to you. Miles, is he problematic for you? Should he be more respectable in his presentation of the black man and his sexuality, or the Christian, the famous Christian?
No, I think, first of all, he's a comedian. It's KevOn Stage. He's a funny dude. You know what I mean? This is what he does. And he's talking about himself. He's not putting it onto anybody else. He's speaking about his own proclivities, as you would call it at this point in time.
Right.
But he's not saying, oh yeah, I watch porn all day and I beat my meat. You know what I mean? He's not like adding on top of it and giving, detriment to it. He's talking about his, his own activity. So I don't think it's too much of it. And I do think that you're doing too much and hating on KevOn Stage. It's KevOn Stage. What are we talking about?
Well, the thing is, we can be pretty puritanical. Society in general, yes, but black people in particular, as much as we're actually stereotyped for being promiscuous, and there are those among us who are, the majority of black people are pretty prudish when it comes to talking about sex, talking about masturbation, talking about, real things in sex. That talk.
I find that even in gay community, right? Like where we are projected or caricaturized as sexual deviants and wild and all kinds of different things. And like, even like the idea of being a sexual deviant, it's like, what does that mean? To deviate from what, right? And like, what are the rules that we're supposed to be upholding in these situations? I think that it's kind of absurd to me sometimes, but I also recognize like it is something that is deeply important to so many people, but I struggle to understand where we get this from. Like specifically, masturbation is not in the Bible, right? It's not. Jesus never said don't do this.
But the scientists say that it is a normal human function.
Well,
the scientists say that human beings need sex, like they need food, water, shelter. Doesn't mean you can't be celibate. That's a choice.
Absolutely.
Don't write to Tavis and say Dominique says I can't be celibate. I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your life. I'm saying the scientists say that is a function of being a human, like eating, sleeping, and going to the bathroom.
Yeah, there's data that came out a few years ago that said, it was talking about men and prostate cancer, and it said that men need to, what can I say on the radio, release 21 times a month. Now, I will say for healthy prostate, for prostate health, right? And to reduce their chances of prostate cancer. Now, I want to say that 21 times a month sounds like a number that would come from a study done by men, right? Like, I trust that.
Also, there should be an age range there.
Well,
if Mitch McConnell did it 21 times a month, he would, he
might be in great condition. He might still be running the Senate. But like, I don't know that that's true.
Or the opposite could occur. He could have a heart attack. I'm just saying people have different health needs.
Yeah.
21 is a kind of one size fits all prescription.
When I think about the just that science piece, right? When you talk about like what science says about what our bodies need and the ways that conflicts with Christianity's rules about what you should do, shouldn't do, etc. I'm like, those things they conflict in a way that I don't know what to do with, right? I don't know what we're supposed to do with the information about what we're supposed to be doing with our bodies scientifically and what Christianity says, because we also in Christianity will say God says this, God wants that, God. And I think we have to make the distinction between what God says and what religion says, right? Because Christianity says you're not supposed to do this. Religion says you're not supposed to do that. Church says you're not supposed to do this.
And yeah, depending on which church too, of course.
Yeah.
I wonder if that has anything to do with Pete why Pete Hegseth wants to test soldiers over 30 for testosterone deficiency. Okay, now I'm dead.
No, but like even this, right? Like if we think about Pete Hegseth, right? The fact that they wanted, for those of you that don't know, Pete Hegseth came out saying that they're going to start testing soldiers for their testosterone levels, right?
Soldiers over 30.
Right, and he's referring to them as warriors and all kinds of different language. And when we see that, number one, I know that there are going to be some significantly problematic gender-related outcomes from that, right? But number two, there is like an undertone of this about sexuality, about something that is like, what are you talking about actually, Pete? Like what are we actually aiming for? It's very weird.
It's really gender affirming care. Robert F. Kennedy, the HHS secretary who's 72, says he injects himself with testosterone as part of his anti-aging regimen. So yeah, there's all kinds of weird gender implications, but also like what? I
appreciate that you refer to the gender affirming care of that, right? We hear people talk about gender affirming care and they think that it is just about trans folks transitioning. But gender affirming care is anything that is about your body that is related to your gender. When you're going to the gynecologist, that's gender affirming care. When a man is going to the urologist, that's gender affirming care. When he's getting his prostate checked, that is gender affirming care. When you are having various different kinds of care, those are gender affirming care, right? And so when we hear that the government, that the military wants to start implementing this with testosterone particularly, I'm like, what are we signing up for?
And then if they're deficient, are they going to shoot them up like they shoot up RFK? And are we going to testosterone test the president? Can we start there?
Jesus. The idea that we're going to be testing people also says that if you don't pass the test, either you're going to be getting shot up or you're going to be getting pulled out or you're going to be getting something else, right?
Right.
You're going to be
prosecuted.
You're going to be prosecuted or you're going to be demoted or you're going to be court martial. I don't know what those things are, right? We'll see. But I think there's an interesting dynamic of like, we're going to be checking your testosterone levels. What does that mean for everyone? I don't know. But
KevOn Stage may be the least of our worries.
KevOn Stage might be the least of our worries. I'll also say I'm very curious how this is going to impact women. Right. What are they going to start asking women to have? Like, are they going to start testing estrogen levels at some point?
Well, we have testosterone, too. Does that mean we get promoted if we have high T levels?
You know what I mean? Like, what are the...
Weird.
Yeah.
It's very dystopian. You can't make this stuff up.
If I wrote this in a TV series, you could be like, come on. You guys, this is absurd.
All right, we got to pass the mic to Tavis Smiley. Remind us where to find your podcast and where to find you.
Yes, you can find me everywhere at Jarrett Hill. Jarrett is 2 R's and 2 T's. You can find me at jarretthill.com. My podcast, The Jarrett Hill Show. We have 12 episodes of this season that just finished, talking about various different ways that we look at revolution and how we fight back. Also, my book, Historically Black Phrases, co-written with Trayvell Anderson, is in stores, and we have a brand new game coming out called Watch Your Mouth. From the book that will be available September 8th.
Excellent. And hopefully you'll come back and we'll play.
Yes.
We got to go. Tavis has got a great show for you. You do not want to miss it. Like my dad, the late, great Amiri Baraka, used to say, a man is either free, a woman is either free, a person is either free or they are not free. There can be no apprenticeship for freedom. Until tomorrow, my KBLA delegation, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. New York City has extended its emergency operations as Canadian wildfire smoke moves into the region. Mayor Mamdani advises residents to stay indoors if necessary.
If you are feeling any effects from this, I would advise you to stay indoors. The best way to handle the heat is to do the same.
Officials say air quality could reach unhealthy levels with cooling centers remaining open and free KN95 masks available citywide. The U.S. House has approved a bill to make daylight savings time permanent, ending that twice-yearly clock change. Supporters say more evening daylight could boost tourism and consumer spending, but the measure still needs Senate approval. And Tyler Perry is pushing back on a sexual assault lawsuit accusing actor Mario Rodriguez Jr. of using the legal discovery process to pressure him into a financial settlement. Perry denies the allegations and is asking the court to sanction Rodriguez's legal team. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Attention Ram owners. Complete Recall 67A. Get $500 and a chance to win a getaway to Miami for two to see the final race of the season. Plus, meet Brendan Butterbean Queen. Learn more and schedule at CumminsRecall.com.
This is the KB.